This
How does
film is not supposed to make you cry. This film is supposed to make you smile, actually. It's like the go-to film for a lot of people.
जब इंसान पहली बार फिल्म बनाता है उस टाइम पे प्रेशर होता है बॉक्स ऑफिस का, लेकिन अब री रिलीज का भी प्रेशर है क्या?
I just want to watch it with everyone again.
10 years later, if Irfan knew that Piku was re-releasing, do you have an idea of how he would be about the re-release?
See, I know that if Irfan was alive, he would force me to do Piku too. So something had happened when we were shooting, you know, this film with Irfan. But something was there so lively about him in this film that you feel like he's just there. The other day I was in an aircraft and the air hostess said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah. I want to thank you for Piku because I am going through that. I'm here on a duty, but I am also answering my mother's call. She's at home, and we live alone." And so she was just got emotional about it.
10 साल बाद तो बता दीजिए एंड सीन का क्या मतलब था?
Just to fill me, just to fill me.
It's been 10 years to a film that made me cry. I still remember. I rewatched Piku recently and it still made me cry. So, Shujita, thank you so much for making me cry twice. Oh my God, it's been 10 years to this
This
film.
this
My God,
this
how
film
does
is not supposed to make you cry. This film is supposed to make you smile, actually.
that's the thing because this film takes you on that journey, right? It sneaks up on you. It makes you laugh throughout, and then when you least
Mm.
expect it, you're left bawling in the theater. My first question to you is: in the last 10 years, how has Piku evolved as a film or as a piece of art that you put out?
Art becomes art when you discuss art. When you discuss, when 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 we talk, when we scrutinize a film, when we discuss the moments of the film, when we art becomes art when you start resonating the characters there and you become that and you take this forward, and something connects with you, and with your own possible life and own way of looking at life. So in that sense, uh, it's 10 years, and uh, uh, because of its possibly the simplicity, um, it, it still had this long shelf life. It's like the go-to film for a lot of people. Messages that I get. So, so in that sense, there is a lot of conversations still. So I think
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's the job of art. So keep the conversation going.
I completely agree with you. And I must share this observation with you as a fan of the film that 10 years ago, when I watched Piku, I was 10 years younger. All right. So was my parent. Now we're both 10 years older, and so is the film. And I must say that, after a decade, the film hits differently because all of us have aged. And I think the
Yeah,
concerns just get graver. I think
yeah.
my question to you is, in most of your films, whether you see Piku or you see October, or you see even other examples in your work, why is caregiving so important to you?
I think it's naturally come to me because I think it's somewhere which I could not. Uh, I tried for the last phase of my mother's life that she spent. Um, and if you see in the film, it's very specifically that Piku has been asked by Irfan that how long will you do this, and she says that your parents are old and they are not alive on their own. You'll have to keep them alive. If you leave them, they will pass. So
So
you will have to make an effort to keep them alive, because that life is so lonely, and only you can do that. So then then he asked, how much will you sacrifice? Well, then that's one job which I cannot just throw and go away. I mean, I'll have to adjust and make things possible. So in that sense, in all my films, somewhere down line, caregiving is definitely the most important underline there.
It truly is. And
And
even
it
with
is
I Want
important.
to Talk.
And
Yeah,
it is, yeah, and it's just not that a father or a mother or children. It is just a general behavior, I think, as an attitude, of caregiving. That's so important become. And now in modern times, it is so much important now in these times.
completely agree. I completely agree with you. The film hits very differently, guys. And that's why I would say go watch it in the theaters all over again. Uh, it's a re-release, and I know that films are re-releasing. The re-releases are doing better than the time they released first. I want to ask you, Sridhar, is there a pressure with this re-release at all? Because जब इंसान पहली बार फिल्म बनाता है उस टाइम पे प्रेशर होता है बॉक्स ऑफिस का, लेकिन अब री-रिलीज का भी प्रेशर है क्या?
No, not at all. There's a lot of joy, actually, There's a lot of excitement now. You know why? Because ये re-release का concept suddenly आया है, you know, and I'm so thankful to whoever has, especially PVR and Icon, whoever has come up with this idea that of re-releasing, ये तो सोचा ही नहीं था.
बिल्कुल.
सोचा था वो बनाया film and this re-released and gone. Now it's in the platform. But someone will take the effort of re-releasing and film lovers will ask for it, bring it on big screen. This is like as I say, this is like a boon, So I cannot ask for more. I'm more than excited. I just want to watch it with everyone again. I just want to go there. I wish that I could watch this film with everyone who's going to the theater, that every show I go and just be there with them.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a Piku. Piku has become a Piku family. It's connected so many generations, so many walks of uh, people from all walks of life. It has connected everyone from everywhere.
Wonderful. I do want to also say that, yesterday we stopped. हम लोग बॉम्बे में ना हम लोग बहुत बिजी रहते हैं, हमको लगता है कि हम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन कुछ नहीं कर रहे रियली. उस बिजीनेस में I stopped thanks to you and that beautiful post that you put for Irfan. And I cannot imagine, to be in your position and look back. And even though there's a lot of pain, there is so much joy. And I love the fact that you always choose to focus on the joy. 10 years later, if Irfan knew that Piku was re-releasing, do you have an idea of how he would be about the re-release? Would he care? Would he care about it? Would he, or would he say, what would he say really, if he knew Piku was re-releasing?
See, I know that if Irfan was alive, he would force me to do Piku 2. Dada, आगे करो इसके लिए. He would have forced me. He would have forced me and Juhi both की बनाओ कुछ Piku का, कुछ Piku 2 करो. इस स्टोरी को आगे लेके चलते हैं. I'm sure he would have done that.
How great.
Um, See, uh, he's so alive in the film. He's so warm, You feel like touching him. You feel like, he's just here. So something had happened when we were shooting, you know, this film with Irfan. He became well, if you see that film, and of course, all the films is really good, but something was there so lively about him in this film that you feel like he's just there, hanging there. So I think that's what he did, and of course he would have loved it. He would have loved, and he would have come to my office. We would have chatted, and by the time we must have done so many films now.
I've always wanted to ask you, there is a reason why I keep going, and I feel like this film needs a part two, is because so smartly you and Juhi left it open for us. You never told us कि end में actually हुआ क्या इरफान और दीपिका एक साथ आते हैं फिल्म में, बैडमिंटन खिलाते हुए आपने दिखाया उनको, and I'm still stuck on that. Every time I watch the movie, I watch it again, I'm like, what happened here? And I want to know. Of course you enjoy that, but 10 साल बाद तो बता दीजिए एंड सीन का क्या मतलब था?
देखो, वो सीन का तो मुझे भी नहीं मालूम, बट वी वर श्योर. वो मुझे भी नहीं मालूम कि व्हाट इज द एंड उसका मिले. आई वाज श्योर कि देयर आर कुछ कुछ रिलेशनशिप्स ऐसे होते हैं वेयर it doesn't have a very definite end. I have some friends all my life, they remain friends. सो वो कैसे कहाँ पे उसका कुछ एक डेफिनेट शेप होगा, कुछ डेफिनेट एंड होगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है कभी कभी. सो आई हैव अ फीलिंग 10 years नाउ इन Piku's life, Rana will be hanging around there somewhere आसपास ही. Now using him in some काम कि मेरा बाजार लाके ला दो, मेरा दुकान से ये सामान ला दो, नो, वो लेके जा, अभी भी रहा, वो
हाँ
अभी
भी रहा
भी
होगा।
प्यार में होगा और अभी भी शायद लेके आ रहा होगा कुछ.
क्या बात
और
है।
नहीं तो उसके बच्चों को पढ़ा भी रहा, उसके बच्चों का ट्यूटर होगा वो, ये भी हो सकता है.
ऐसे भी हो सकता है, बिल्कुल। देर आर रीजंस व्हाई वी लव दिस फिल्म। आई डू वांट टू आस्क यू, ओवर द लास्ट 10 years, हर फिल्म की एक क्या बोलती है, एक ऑडियंस होती है, और एक ऑडियंस जो है वो एक चीज, एक थीम जो है आपसे बार बार डिस्कस कर रही होंगी। तो पीकू को लेकर आपसे लोगों ने सबसे ज्यादा क्या कहा है? लाइक मुझे याद है आपने कहा था विकी डोनर के बाद you had to go cut ribbons at a lot of hospitals because that's the impact the film had, कि अब fertility
Right.
centers वो खुल के बोलते हैं. What is that impact of Piku for you?
See, two things which come. That one which you already uh, just said in your own life's experience, that when your parents going, and then so wherever I go, like the other day I was in an aircraft and the air hostess said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah." So she called me after the every, and she took me to a corner and said, "I want to thank you for Piku because I am going through that. I'm here on a duty, but I am also answering my mother's call. She's at home, and we live alone." And so she was just got emotional about it again, and how frustrated also she is because of the relationship. And so Piku was so true. So this is one conversation which always comes up, and this is not only with women, with men also. A lot of they are taking care of the parents. And the second thing also, you already said the ending of the film. That is all the most discussed. Where what happened with them. Kuch to something. I said even I don't know. I don't know. I left it to you, so you figure out. So
Absolutely.
these are the two things which we discussed the most.
Well, I'm so glad that we get a chance to rewatch it. And as I said, it's one of those films that, you know, ages with you, and it's beautiful because the film has a different meaning 10 years later, and I can tell you that personally. And yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to say that that's the impact it has. So I would love for you to end this chat by asking your wonderful Piku family to come and show up and watch the film again in the theaters.
Oh yes, I really want to just watching in theaters is to be an experience. And also, it will set up an example because we need audiences at this moment. The industry is recalibrating. There's a lot of things are going, there's a lot of confusion. So, if you really want to like good cinema, please come to the theater and watch this film. Let's watch this film.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shujita, for your time, and thank you for this film again. And it was so lovely rewatching it again. I
Thank you.
watched it just 2 days ago, just for myself, but I'll see it in the theater again. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.